My name is Michael Anthony O'Toole. I'll be 86 next birthday. I am a husband, father, great-grandfather. It was a very pleasant, happy, but hard time growing up in the 1930s in Dublin. I was born in 1928. I was the last into a family of 8. We had a room in a tenement house in Dorset Street in Dublin, a beautiful Georgian area of Dublin. And we only had one room in the house, one toilet, one tap to serve 5 families. And yet, I don't remember any unhappiness, or it was survive really. I had 3 brothers, Jimmy, Billy and Jackie. I was the youngest, and I had 3 sisters, Mary, Rosie and Kathleen. They were all happy-go-lucky people. Beautiful really. So much love amongst the people there in the house. And although times were very hard, there was only my father working, and it was impossible to get work. But again, you had to survive. There was no other choice, the same as every other family. In 1935, we were moved to a new housing estate in County Dublin called Crumlin. It was brand new, beautiful houses, bathrooms, bedrooms, electric light, gardens, unbelievable. My first couple of hours in the house I spent switching on and off the light. I couldn't believe it. All we had in our old place was gas lamps. And the joy of switching a light on and watching instant, beautiful light flood the room. Unbelievable. Across the road was the Beans, famous author Brendan, Dominic. A wonderful family. Stephen, the father, who was head of the Painters Union. And funny, later on, Dominic got a job in the painting. His father got him fixed up as a painter in Dublin. But at that time we were organising the unemployed. And Dominic had to pack the job up to lead the unemployed movement, which was funny. And other families were great abilities, which were being wasted by unemployment and conditions we were living under. I attended school in Hurdles Cross National Boys School. So strict. Even now, I'm getting on for 86. I can still feel that cane hitting me across the tips of the fingers. I can still feel it. The blisters, bleeding. Now they'd be doing 6 months if they hit you like that. But in those days that was normal. But they did turn out people that could read and write when they were 6, 7 years old, and respect. And discipline was, oh Lord, when I think of it now and look around at some of the children today, I shudder. They're no controls. They do what they like. They're spoiled. Not all of them, but most of them. And the parents sit back for an easy option and let them do what they like. Mind you, they're farmed out from the age of 2 and 3 years old, like battery chickens, anywhere they can put them. And mainly because, I suppose, they have to find work, the mothers, to help live in this rat race that exists today. In 1943, my sister Mary, who already lived in England, her husband was in the RAF. She had 2 young boys. And I think what had happened, although that wasn't told to me, was they had parted. And she was finding it heavy going. And she asked me would I come back for her for a little while till she sorted herself out and things. I said yes. Because at that time, the last place that I wanted to be was in England. I had friendships with people in Dublin and living up in the mountains 6 months of the year. And but I went, and we arrived in Brighton, and everything was so new, so strange. Rationing, the air raids, the barbed wire and the aircraft guns, the people under such terrible, terrible pain and suffering of this daily, nightly Holocaust that was taking place. Out of the blue, you're sitting there and the siren go, and as far as you knew, that could be your last 5 minutes on the planet. As the bombs fell and the guns were firing and absolute bedlam.
Honeymooning couples too, you should see them bill and coo. You'd be surprised at things they do when I'm cleaning windows in my profession.
I got a job in the Brighton Hippodrome as a page boy, and to me, it was like moving into fairyland. Every week a different show, different entertainment people. And I loved every moment of it. And as far as I know, all I got was 10 shillings a week, which is 50p. And that was for from 10 in the morning until 9 or 10 at night. And it was so enjoyable, the money didn't matter. It was tremendous. Honestly, to see the singers, the dancers, the comedians, magicians. From page boy, I became call boy, calling the artists, going around telling them how much time they had before they had to go on stage. And most of them would tip you at the end of the week when the show was ending on the Saturday night, which was very nice. And from that, I was stage electrics. So I had an all-around good experience of the entertainment business.
Hey!
In between, I worked on building projects. Out in Shoreham on bomb damage, on what we called first aid repairs, and we went down just to put emergency repairs to get people back into their homes, to get factories back up running. And then I started work on a feature film, V1, because I held a union card. They were short of people, and someone told me, and immediately I started as prop man. And I worked for some months on the outside filming. We built an actual German camp where the victims, just like in the dreadful places in Germany, and we built Warsaw Square, an actual complete copy of a section of Warsaw Square, the Gestapo headquarters. And we went there filming for, must have been 4 months, 5 months. I've actually got a photograph myself in the Gestapo uniform, where they were short of people one night, and we had to not alone double up as prop men, but as Gestapo officers. When that finished, I think I went back on the building again, and that was the gasworks and the power station at Shoreham. And when I look back now, I walking around on girders 200 and 300 foot up in the air, shuttering, laying floors, and think nothing of it, run across a 4.5 width girder. Now it takes me all my time to walk along the pavement. June was Roy, through Roy, our brother, who was a lovely character, lovely man. And I used to play the piano a little bit in this pub. I think I knew 4 songs I could play. But it was good enough in those days. Anything people wanted to be cheered up. And Roy and I went for a drink there, and his sister came along, June, we're a friend, and he introduced me, and she stayed for the session, and then we made a date, and we met up regular, went out then together, and in 1950 we got married in St. Joseph's in Brighton. In the lanes in the basement of my sister Mary's house, and it was a case of fighting for survival again, in a constant battle with the mice and the damp. But Mary was such a tremendous character, and it was fun in a way. And my eldest son Tony was born, and he got ill, a chest complaint or something. When the doctor came to see him, he said, "Oh my God, it's like the black hole of Calcutta." 3 days later, a gentleman arrived with the keys of a beautiful flat in Cannon Place. From the lounge window you could see the sea, the boats, and in the evening on the back fire escape you could sit out. Everyone did, like Chicago, at the big houses you see on the movies, where everyone's sitting on the fire escape, and the wind, beautiful cool wind blowing. But after the basement, it was utopia. June was a beautiful girl, and at that time she could design and make her own costumes and everything. I mean, she made stuff that you wouldn't see now in the shops. Beautiful clothes and a beautiful girl. She never was gloomy, or she made the best of what she had. And when I think of what she did, we moved eventually from Cannon Place to Bevendean to our own house, a council house, and the hill up to the house through the housing estate was like climbing Mount Everest. And she pushed a pram up there with 2 children in it, and went and shopping for miles, pushing this pram full of the 2 kids, groceries, all the shopping. When I look back, I don't know how she'd done it. There was 2 television stations, that's all. One of them was ATV in London, and the other one was Alpha in Birmingham. That's all the television outlets there were. Anyway, I got a job with a company who were making television commercials and television ad mags for ATV.
High-active Persil gives a purer whiteness. The through-and-through whiteness all moms need with a lively boy around. New high-active Persil. It washes even whiter.
We had a little studio in Foley Street and an OB unit in Highbury, which was in a club, and billiard tables, and we used to move everything out of the way, bring the OB unit into the front garden, and the show was done. When I think of what we've done in those places, it's unbelievable. Major one was ABC Television, and I started work there as a property master, and it was an old film studio, and we spent 9 months converting it into a television station and starting staff, equipping it, and my job was creating a property department. To start with, I think I had about 20 prop hands, prop drivers, vans, and the shows we done there, huge shows, tales of mystery and imagination, and it worked 24 hours a day, non-stop. I stayed there for 14 years. Then I went up to work for Yorkshire Television. I spent 22 years at Yorkshire Television, prop master. One of the highlights, we done a show called Prime Ministers. The location was Lord Mountbatten's house. Beautiful, beautiful place. And while on location there doing one of the episodes, Sir Hurdle Wilson and I got talking. I was amazed how friendly he was. And on the conclusion of the show, we had a great big reception for all the people who had taken part in the production. Sir Hurdle stopped and said, "Tony, how are you doing? How have you been getting on since I last seen you? I did enjoy my days at Southampton with all of you. It was wonderful." And shook hands and moved on. It was really a great experience. The Prime Minister of England speaking to Tony O'Toole. It was something for the history books and television. I retired. I came back, the whole family, we moved back to London, to Whitton. Got a nice house in Whitton, which we're very happy. And I took odd jobs because I was bored and nothing to do. One of the best jobs I ever took was working for Jigsaw. Such a wonderful company and such a generous people. I happened to mention I'd never been to Bath, and someone was telling me all about the Roman city and the baths and everything, and I said, "I've never been." 2 weeks later, we were booked into the biggest hotel in Bath for a week to compliment the company. When I retired after 5 years, they sent us to Malta, our own private apartment and our own swimming pool on the roof. I mean, the generosity of the man and the companionship and the care, it was unbelievable. Here was this John Robinson. He used to ring me down and he'd say, "Can you come up to the office?" And I say, "Is this a trick question?" Because if I say, "I'm not busy, I'm down there," you say, what am I paying you for? And if I say, "Yeah, no problem, I'm on my way," and that, you'd say, haven't you got anything to do? And anyway, when I went up, he just said, "What's all the fuss? I only want you to have a drink with me." And him and I used to talk, and I was so pleased to see the company expand and go on, because they deserved it. They looked after people. I have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. The eldest, Tony, who is now an old age pensioner himself. Jacqueline, my eldest daughter, married to Peter, her dear friend, who has been so good to June and I down the years. Sean, the youngest son. Patricia, our youngest daughter, who is married with a family, lives in Southampton. And they are a wonderful, truly wonderful family. We have grandchildren, great-grandchildren. We have every one of them beautiful people who it's a pleasure to have around, to know. And when you think all these people now are a result of June and I being married and our own family, now all this extended family, it's a blessing, a really beautiful blessing. June means everything to me. If anything happened to June, it'd be like losing more than half of myself. But there again, that is, well, it could be either way. But for her to go first, I would be heartbroken. But equally, for me to go and leave her behind, don't think I could bear that, because I wouldn't want to leave her on her own. Not today, in this world. I wouldn't like that. So I don't know what the answer is. To sit down one day and God say, come on, the pair of you. Come on. And another stage, who knows what it might be? Who knows? I'm an optimist. Life goes so quickly. I'm be 86 next birthday, and when I sit down at times and think back, it seems it's so short. It's like as if time has just absolutely flown away. Our health isn't too good, and to each other, one's part of helping to each day get up, do what we have to do, and just again, that beautiful word, survive. And I suppose it's a bit like waiting for Godot. There's nothing you can do about it. You've had your innings. You've lived the life that was laid out for you. You've done the best you could. So accept them cheerfully. And then I mustn't leave out my faith. Because I remember my mother when I was a little boy telling me one day, your faith's like a precious jewel. Don't ever lose it. And now at 86, to have a relationship with someone that you can talk to, tell your troubles to, ask for help, I think that's part of being able to survive. When my time comes to say farewell, as my old friend in Dublin used to say, I hope you're in heaven a half an hour before the devil realises you're dead. That's it. Whatever happens, I've done it my way.